so we've got this whole front subframe set up from Garage 5 in Christchurch. Really helpful guys, gave me heaps of info. We've currently got a depowered steering racks from MX5. He is going to hook me up with a stock manual steering rack, and so me and Jake have just pulled this apart. We're using these arms and these brakes off the MX5 and the steering rack, but this subframe we're building a custom one of. We just have to check that all the measurements I have in the computer from what I found online matches what we have here, because if not, now's the time to change it. We don't want to get further down the road and have some wacky geometry going on. So yeah, we'll just do a time lapse of that now and crack into it.
Just going to take a quick second here to have a look at what I've drawn in the computer. This is the front subframe, all profiles, locking together with tags and slots, so it should be pretty true when it's all finished. Giving me the correct geometry for the car, and it's also going to be supporting these bell cranks for the counter-lever suspension, and the fuel tank's going to be sitting in the centre of it all, because that's probably the best place in the car to protect it, plus bring in some of the car weight forward. Yeah, let's see if it turns out just the way it's planned.
Really exciting time, because it's the first time we're actually going to start cutting and grinding and welding stuff. This feels like it's really, even though of course it already has, it feels like this is the real start now. Actually getting tools in hands and having some fun. Might be doing some weird stuff because I still have a broken finger and there's a couple of pins holding it together, so that's going to slow me down a bit, but well, we've got all the time in the world at the moment while we're stuck at home, so why not? But finally, I've got a whole lot of pieces here. This camera is not playing ball. All cut, all profile cut, ready to go. There'll be some footage of that. This is going to be like the main centerpiece of the build. It's just some profiles that we cut. It's the start of the front anyway. I can get the welder out now, and got a wee demo here of the first part I'm going to do is put the sides together. So these bits that I just bent up a bit, I'm going to weld on here, and this guy goes on top, and that's the main, one side of the main structure of the front subframe, and it's looking pretty cool. Alright, I've been really looking forward to this because now that these are done, I can clamp these in place where they got to go. They got to be quite symmetrical. And then I'm thinking I might even put a wee tack weld in the bottom corner here to really make sure they stay exactly where they need to be. So everything else I build off it stays square. These have to be exactly right because it's sort of my base, and from past experiences you want to make sure that base is perfect because you don't know when it's going to stuff you out down the track. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of time squaring that up to check that so I don't run into those issues. Last night off camera we just clearanced some of the holes, just made sure they were a nice fit, and where the bolts go and where the tube slots through. Made sure that was a good fit, and I didn't have to do anything to those. The odd bolt hole I had to just give a slight file to, but they're all good to go now. And yeah, finally this is going to start looking like something. Hey everyone, it's a new morning here. Last night we achieved quite a lot. James pulled these parts apart for me. We're going to tidy them up, and now we can bolt them to the subframes and things for checking a bit easier instead of having them as like solid units. Why he did that, I did some more tacking on the subframe so we could flip it over. So it's broken away from the bench now. It's really rigid with the amount of tacking there is. We're going to wait till after quarantine to weld it, because if I weld all this up now I'm going to run out of gas real fast. So plus I kind of want to make sure everything else lines up before I solidly weld it. This we did a little bit of pipe notching here. Got this all sorted. So this is the tags that hold the bottom arm on, and it's looking really good. It's just the front bar that goes across here. When I bent it there, it sort of squished this hole, and that's not round anymore, so we're just having to file it out to make it fit. And that's going to be the next piece to go on here. Once that's on here, I can finish the subframe and move on to the next part of the car. Let's see how we go. now that the subframe's all together, I can check for where the steering rack has to be mounted. I had a fair idea where it needed to be. I just wanted to double check so we don't get any bumps there. It's looking really good. You might not be able to see with the perspective on the camera, but as it moves through its motion, the steering angle doesn't change at all. So that'll make for some good geometry, and I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. So now we're going to move on to the next part of the build, which is going to be the rear subframe. Let's get into it.
Thanks for watching. To keep me motivated to keep making more content, please like and subscribe or add me on Facebook or Instagram. See you on the next one.